everybody. So just want to recapitulate what we learned last week. So we're going to say Bekitzur in the short way, and I'm going to explain things in the biggest way already in the new lesson. Read number 1 there.
Moses received the Torah from Sinai and transmitted it to Joshua. Joshua to the elders to the prophets, and the prophets transmitted it to the men of the great assembly. They, the men of the great assembly, said 3 kings, be deliberate in judgment, develop many disciples, and make a fence for the Torah.
So the first lesson we teach you, hi Rachel, how are you? Welcome. That's a new student lecture, Levi. Welcome, Zat Hashem, that you could be part for our family, Zat Hashem. One of the first things the Torah teaches over here is that the Torah is not like kings and princes that come by father and mother. The Torah is coming around people that deserve it. So Moshe, even they have 2 children, the 2 children wasn't able to be so high and so special like Yehoshua until Yehoshua became after Yehoshua, it wasn't here. His children became the Amshech, so that all the sages, everything. Let me show you that the Torah is by the effort of every person. It's not, doesn't deserve by father, mother, doesn't go by father. But each person can have the father, doesn't know Torah at all, and he put effort in himself, and he makes really, he can acquire Torah. After it says, you have to be very careful how to judge people. Never listen to one side, always listen for both sides. It says, immediately you have to be a person that always try to teach others. Even you know Aleph Bet, teach Aleph Bet, you know a story, teach a story. That every person, every little bit you have to know. Your obligation is that ilmod u lelamed, to go and teach other person. We also say Torah has been barriers for the Torah, barriers. What's the barriers? They mean that, like I explained last week, if the person, in example, you know the Torah says, you're not allowed to cook a meat with his mother's milk. That means that only the Torah not allowed to eat animals, that these animals have milk, but chicken doesn't have milk. So according to the Torah, chicken was allowed to eat, but you don't eat it because the Torah, no, they're so similar, the chicken meat, to the real meat. People are afraid maybe a person is going to forget and is going to eat meat with milk. So the Torah said to not forget to eat meat with milk. We are going to do that. We are going to not allow to eat also chicken with milk. Alex, number 2, please.
Shimon the righteous was among the survivors of the great assembly. He used to say, the world depends on 3 things: on Torah study, on the service of God, and on kind deeds.
Now explain last week in short way, recapitulation. The Shimon HaTzadik, he said 3 things holding the world. First thing is the study of Torah. The Torah is the life of the person. Like a fish cannot live without water, also a person cannot live without the Torah. Al-Avodah, the Torah says over here, Avodah is the praise, the korbanot, the people have to pray. This is the way of to communicate with Hashem. The people have to pray. And Gemilut Chasadim, do kindness, because the word say Olam Chesed Baneh, page 590. Olam Chesed Baneh, the word is by kindness, and what's moving in the word, it's kindness. That means that a person really needs to come and to do kindness in his life. Number 3, read please.
Antigonus, leader of Sappho, received the tradition from Shimon the righteous. He used to say, be not like servants who serve their masters for the sake of receiving a reward. Instead, be like servants who serve their master not for the sake of receiving a reward. And let the awe of heaven be upon you.
Okay, so now we see something very powerful. They have 2 ways to serve God. Ways people serve God like a slave. Ways people serve God like a son. What's the difference really? A slave is only doing what his master tells him to do because he's afraid. He's afraid that he's going to punish him. So that's the lowest level. The people coming to serve God not because he loves God, because he feels that God is his father and that God's giving so many goods for him and you need to give back to God all the kindness, all the good, that you're healthy, you have eyes, you can walk, you know, sickness. Just do it because you're afraid that God is going to punish you. And the highest level is to serve the God like a son serve his father. When the father came to you, say, Father, please, my son, bring me some water. You don't go to tell him, I don't bring you. You bring it because you know there's so much good your father doing for you. You want to retribute the kindness you have. Number 4, please.
Yosef ben Yetzer, leader of Sareda, and Yosef ben Yochanan, leader of Jerusalem, received the tradition from them. Yosef ben Yetzer, leader of Sareda, says, "Let your house be a meeting place for sages. Sit at the dust of their feet and drink in their words thirstily."
Okay, today they say something very powerful, that all the world really is guided and surrounded by the people that teach Torah, the rabbis and the scholars. They coming to the world to helping people to become close to Hashem. Like I explained before, that the Kabbalah says all the souls over here are souls for reincarnation, but the souls of tzaddikim, the holy people, they not reincarnate, they just come with the mission to helping people to get close to God. And that's so important that I saw before. I want to ask the Biala Rebbe why the Syrian Jews are so successful in business. He says because they respect Talmidei Chachamim. To respect people that learn Torah is something very, very powerful, and that's a source of many blessings in the life. Brian, number 5, please.
Yosef ben Yochanan, leader of Jerusalem, says, "Let your house be open wide. Treat the poor as members of your household and do not converse excessively with a woman." They said this even about one's own wife. Surely it applies to another's wife. Consequently, the sages said, "Anyone who converses excessively with a woman causes evil to himself, neglects Torah study, and will eventually inherit Jannah."
Okay, to now come one of the most powerful teaching in the first thing of the Torah and the Kabbalah. They say like this, that what is so powerful to help poor people? So when you told before last week, the Torah tells us that tzedakah comes from the word tzedek, justice. But it's really not justice, it's mercy, because you go in the street, you see a person, a homeless, and you have mercy from him and you give him food. So what kind of justice is? So the justice here is that Hashem give you more money, that the extra money you have, you're helping somebody that have less money. And when you come in and you help a poor people, you make peace between a person and God. Why? Because a person complains, why I'm homeless and poor and this man has everything and I have nothing. So we're helping a person to have something, to be able to be have a honorable life, to be able to be a decent life, to making peace between a person and thing. Now, other things over here, really, that have to be understood. People don't say that you need really to not speak to your wife. It doesn't say it. People misunderstand. People say like this: that people, they have to speak to his wife. They have to speak what's important, but don't have to stay all day talk to his wife. Why? Because unfortunately, one of the things that humans come to fix in this world is one thing called Lashon Hara. The gospel. They speak it bad about other people. That's something that women have much more than by the men. A person that can speaking all the time about everything and any topics and things that excessive, not what he needs to speak. And sometimes it can follow, maybe his wife could speak bad about her neighbor or about another person, and it's going to be not good for him. For sure, the person needs to speak to his wife. I speak to my wife every day, and I call her 20 times a day, but I don't call her to ask him what's about somebody else's life. I call her to ask him how I can help you to make you really easy life and better life for you. Number 6, Brian, please.
Yeshua ben Berechiah and Natai of Arbel received the tradition from them. Yeshua ben Berechiah says, "Accept a teacher upon yourself, acquire a friend for yourself, and judge everyone favorably."
Okay. One of the most important things here is a concept that says 592. Aseh lecha Rav. A person has to have obligation to find one rabbi, not 10 rabbis, not 20 rabbis, not 50 rabbis, one rabbi, that this rabbi is going to advise him and ask and go to advise him and go and tell him what is the way of the God to guide this person. That's very important, that people have to have one rabbi, and this rabbi, what he says for you, that's what he's going to do. An example, like I told you before, I was in Mexico, my rabbi called me and said, Shmuel, I told you now, you need to go back to Israel because your soulmate are in Israel and not in America. And I have all my life in America, everything in America. I don't ask questions. The rabbi says, he's my rabbi. I don't ask many rabbis. He told me, I came back. After a month and a half, I met my soulmate. I mean, that's... Sometimes, rabbis, when they tell you something for you, it's not for his mind. They tell you things because Hashem put in his mouth to tell you. And this is very important, the person have a rabbi. Now, it's one of the things very, very powerful. A person needs to have a trustful friend. Why? Because sometimes a person, they are a little bit ashamed to ask such questions for the rabbi, so embarrassing thing, to have a trustful friend that he's really have fear from God, and really can advise you and can help you in the time of your hardship. And that's one very important thing. We have it called now come one very, very powerful things that unfortunately that's one of the worst things we're having today. The people, they don't judge in the good eyes of the people. They're always going and always trying to find the defects, and they never try to find really the good part. And that's one of the reasons also that it became so hard people to get married, because when the people go for a date, they're coming and they're looking the defects of the person. They don't look the good of the person. And that's one of the most important things, that a person needs to have ayin tova, good eye. It means that when you go out to find a soulmate, don't look the defect, look the good about the person. And that was the sixth. Number 7 I'm going to say now, and after I'm going to start to explain more deeply for the thing of the week. Mitch, please. 7.
Retired, Arbella says, distance yourself from a bad neighbor. Do not associate with a wicked person. Do not despair of retribution.
Okay. One thing is that people have to be very careful, and I say all the time, and also can say, Rabbi, you have love to a fellow, but other thing, you have a bad person that can influence you bad things. So one thing the Torah teaches, that your work in the world is not to fix the world. If you see a person that is a bad influence for you, let's say he take you to drugs, take you to smoking, to drinking, you see that he's bad for you, you must have to be far from this person. Don't get connected to the people that are bad for you. Okay? Much more, if you see a person is an evil person, that his life only to do bad, don't get his friend. Don't be friend from bad people. Because maybe he'll go to ask a favor, they cannot say no for him. And our temptation permit. Sometimes people see very bad people, very successful. They says, listen, all these righteous people, they're not successful. Page 592.
Should be the blue.
Give it to him.
The blue here.
Doesn't matter, give it to
You
him.
can take it.
Take this
Just
one.
share with him, so you have a book, but just share.
You have more books outside. One second. Hello, Zohar? כן, אני פה. אתה יכול להגיע, אני באמצע, כבר התחלתי. לא כולם. טוב. בסדר, אז אני אדבר איתך תבוכת. בסדר. Good. So people can say, People can say, look at this person, he's a drug dealer, he's a bad person, he's successful, and this person is righteous, he's working hard, never still not successful. So they want to say, don't think that these people that are doing bad is going to be good forever. And you see something interesting example, that in Brazil, like in America, have a lot of drug dealers. And they make a sense that all the drug dealers, in the age of 35, or he get murdered, or is in the jail. So they mean that the good from bad is not something forever. It's something limited. Now I'm going to start out the shiur for today, but to continue. And I'm going to start to explain more in the deep way, in the Kabbalistic way, everything. Number 8, say please. Ariel. I'm sorry.
Yehuda ben Tebai and Shimon ben Shatach received the tradition from them. Yehuda ben Tebai says, when serving as a judge, do not act as a lawyer. When the litigants stand before you, consider them both as guilty. But when they are dismissed from you, consider them both as innocent, provided they have accepted the judgment.
Okay. So now one of the things here is talking really about judge. When a person is a judge and he has two people before he judge, he needs to know the two people that can be guilty. Don't take a side for another person, not because he's rich, not because he's poor. And interesting today that when the judge was coming, if the judge is knowing a person, even today, I have a friend of mine who was a traffic judge, and this traffic judge, if you know a person, he say, I'm staying to come. Why? Because you know you can have a mercy for him. So when two people come for you for judgment, you are judge. Please, don't take a side and feel this is better because this is poor, this is rich. And after you give the verdict, you say this guy is guilty and this guy is not guilty, finish. You don't judge anymore. Because that's one of the worst things that people can have today, that they always remember the guiltiness of the person. So the guy is guilty, say, you're guilty forever, you're this, you're that. And every person deserves to have a second chance in their life. And that's one of the most things the Kabbalah explains, that one of the things that God created before he creates the world, he created teshuvah, repentance. The person really can be the worst thing, like Resh Lakish. You talk about Resh Lakish. He was a gangster, a raper, a murderer, and he made teshuvah. He became one of the biggest tzaddikim. Then one of the things the person can do it is teshuvah. It can be the worst of the worst. It can do repentance. If he repentance is bad of his heart, what means repentance? The example. A person, he was stealing for somebody else. So you have two levels of repentance, the Kabbalah explains. The first level is, I'm stealing for persons, I'm making now a resolution in my life, I'm not going to steal again. This is the first level of teshuvah. The higher level of teshuvah is that it says, not only they are not going to steal again, I'm also not going to do nothing bad in my life. Everything bad I'm doing besides stealing, I'm not going to do. This is the higher level of teshuvah. So I have two levels of teshuvah. I have one level really, the person stopped to do what is doing wrong, and the second level, they not only does it do what is doing wrong, he's not going to do nothing wrong. Number 9, read. Rachel.
Shimon ben Shatach says, interrogate the witness extensively and with cautious with your words, lest they learn to lie.
One other powerful thing says over here is the Torah really is very careful to don't make people have wrong judgment. To take a guilty and make not guilty and a not guilty guilty. So it's very important. One of the things you have to do, how really you can be surely and you can make your best that you're going to be a good judge, a judge of emet, a judge of truth. When you go and you ask the proper question to the witness. Why? Because when the witness is going to see that you asking the main questions, and the time of the Torah is not only asking questions, you're making a person swear. A person does something, need to swear in the name of God. When people need to swear in the name of God, already he became afraid. He's afraid. People know the punishment to swear in God's name and lie. So that's what they say over here, that you really need to go and interrogate good the witness and listen good, carefully what he says. Shel mitocham, that they don't go to take sticks to go to try to lie. And they go to know that you have come to them, you cannot lie. You know that you cannot lie. And such a powerful is that in the Torah teaches the time of the Torah, when a person was lying, the punishment and the catch, the punishment they was doing to the person they gave it to him. It was slaughtering him, he slaughtered the witness. Why they do this? Because they learn to learn and to teach that people cannot come to lie, be a false witness. Okay? Number 10. Say, Elias.
Shemaiah and after you received the tradition from them, Shemaiah says, Lord work despise Lord godliness, and do not become overly familiar with the government.
Good. 3 things they say over here. Avet Malacha. People need to know that today, after the sin of Adam Arishon, only very few people can only learn Torah every day. The people need to do Torah ve'avodah. What means they need to learn and to have a way to maintain himself, a work. And need to like what he's doing. And many tzaddikim, they was doing, have Rabbi Sandlar, one was a shoemaker, other one have store, even Rashi, the famous Rashi have a winery. They was sell things. And the people have snat rabbanut. What do you mean you have to hate the rabbis? So that's something very powerful here, that many people, like politicians, like people in the government, things, unfortunately, some rabbis, they want to become a rabbi not to help people, to be a rabbi to have an honor. The rabbi is here, or the doctor is here, or the person is here. And this is not proposed to the rabbi. A person became a rabbi to what? To come and help people to become close to God. That's the thing of become a rabbi. You become a rabbi to have honoring, to go in Mercedes, to everybody bad for you, badding for you. No. You became a rabbi to choose to become a rabbi, to use your power to come and to help other people to become close to God. Other things that are important here, the people don't have to go and run to become politicians. Because politicians, when he needs you, you have to do it for him. When you need him, he doesn't do nothing for you. In that time already was corrupted politician, much more than today. So to be a person politician, only some people the rabbis tell you to do, you have to do, is not a good thing. Try to become a simple Jew, work, learn Torah, and serve Hashem. That's the best thing. Number 11. Say please.
Antalion say, scholars, be continuous with your words, for you may incur the penalty of exile and be side to place of evil writers. The disciplines who follow you, that may drink and die, and consequently the name of heaven will be discredited.
Very good, ladies and gentlemen. So now they say something very powerful. The greatness of a rabbi is when a person coming to him and says, asking a question, if he doesn't know 100%, don't say. Don't say. Why? Because maybe you can say the wrong thing, and a person can learn in place to make a mitzvah, you make a avera, because you're making a sinner, because what something you're not supposed to do, you're telling you're supposed to do. And people can even get punished from the heaven for to do the wrong thing, and you profane the name of God. Example, when a person asks me from me a question, I always says to him in halachic question, halachic, let me think about and give an answer for you. I never answer right away. Even I know for sure, 1,000,000%, I don't answer because I need to be sure 100% that the answer that I give for the person is 100% sure that this really is what the halacha, the halachic, and the Torah teach a person.
And that's why you are who you are.
I hope so. Amen. Amen. Page 12. Go, please. Go ahead.
Hillel and Shammai received the tradition from them. Hillel says, be among the disciples of Aaron, loving peace and pursuing peace, loving people and bringing them closer to the Torah.
Very good. Now really coming now something very powerful that he says when Aaron HaKohen passed away, the Torah says, "Vayifku alav kol bnei Israel." All the Jewish people cry for him. Why? Because he was a person ohev shalom. He loves the peace. Verodev shalom. He ran after the peace. Ohev kavod, likes the people. Umekavanata, he bring him close to Hashem. What's mean over here? You see, two people was fighting. They don't want to talk to each other. So you come to him and say, Moshe, you don't know that. I met your friend Yosef, there was fight for you. He's so sorry that he fights you. He's so really sad, he asked you forgiveness. But it's not true, he didn't ask you nothing. The how can say he's a liar. So the Torah says, for make peace, you love to lie. Because inside of the person, every person wants to do good. Inside. And because that he knows that every person inside is good, so he was coming and making peace between people. That's the reason that he was even higher than Moses. And when he's died, everybody cried for him, no exception, because he's so person loved by every person. Because a person doing things for other people, really people love him for what he's doing. Okay? Page 494, 13. Say please, Yaakov.
He used to say, who seeks the renown losses. He used to say, he who seeks renown loses his reputation. He who does not increase his Torah learning decreases it. He who refuses to teach Torah deserves death, and he who exploits the crown of Torah shall fade away.
No, that is a very powerful teaching. You see, Nagid Shema Aved Shema. A person, they're only doing things, not L'Shem Shammai, because to make Hashem happy, only doing things to make his reputation. He doesn't teach Torah because he wants really to teach the word of Hashem and bring people close to Hashem. He teaches Torah because he wants everybody to see him and give him kavod and respect. He's the rabbi they're teaching. So all this thing, reputation is going down because people sees and people feels if you are for real or not for real. If you're doing things really L'Shem Shamayim because you want to increase the name of Hashem, or you do things L'Shem Atzmecha in the name of yourself. Now other things over here. In the Torah, you cannot stay in the same place. Or you're going up, or you're going down. All the time that you're not going up, you are going down. That means that a person always needs to learn and need to look at to grow in Torah. You cannot never stay in the same level. The moment you stay in the same level, you're going down. Okay? Other thing now. The Holy Baal Shem Tov says, you don't need to be a scholar to teach another Jew Torah. You know Aleph Bet? Go teach Aleph Bet. You know a Hasidic story? Teach a Hasidic story. You know Shema? You met a person who doesn't know Shema? Teach him Shema. Okay. Everything that you know, even a little bit, if you see a friend that he doesn't know, you have an obligation to go and to teach and to bring the thing. And today, like I said before, today you have a Jewish Holocaust in America with 63% of people intermarriage. And the job for each one of us, not only the job from the rabbis, is a job for each one of us. Israel Arevim Zevazeh, every Jew is responsible from his brother. It's a job for each one of us to take out once a week, once for our time, and go and do something for your friend Jew that is far from Hashem. And that's something not only for rabbis, not only for scholars, for each person. If you have a friend, example, that doesn't know how to say Shema, you know how to say Shema, just to read. You have obligations, call him, listen, you want me, I can teach you how to say Shema, I can teach you how to put tefillin, I can teach you how to eat kosher, I can teach you the blessing. Every person has obligation to come and to do something to bring our brothers back. And so powerful is these things that today really, I think maybe easily 30% of the Orthodox Jews today, maybe more, let's say 30% in low level, they are people that balei teshuvah. People that was not religious, like my father wasn't religious, my mother wasn't religious, and they became through Chabad. The rabbi from Chabad, Rabbi Begun, took them and became religious. And he saved not only my father's life, he saved my father's life, my mother's life, me, my brother. We already have 6 children, so he saved already more than 10 people for free. So that's obligation, guys. You see your friend that is not religious, go. Don't say take every day 24 hours. Take an hour, 10 minutes for your time. Go help your brother to become close to Hashem. Number 17.
17, no. 14, brother.
14. Go.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh. He used to say, if I am not for myself, who will be for me? And if I am for myself, what am I? And if not now, when?
This is another powerful thing. The Kabbalah teaches also that all the way of serving God is that in your service to Hashem, you cannot depend on other people. It depends on yourself. You cannot say, people go to pray for me, people go to study for me. In the Judaism, this doesn't learn. Judaism believe in outgrowing that you need to do for yourself. You need to grow. You can ask people to help you, but people cannot do things for you. You have to do for yourself. So you want to grow, you want to pray, you want to teach, you want to do, you have to do for yourself. If not for me, who is for me? When I for me, what I am. You can think yourself, look at me. I learn 20 hours and I do so much mitzvot, but how much people they learn much more than you, do much more than you. Always a person have to look people that are better than you and higher than you, understand? And know that what you do is a little bit what's supposed to be. You can do much more. You can do much more all the time. You can grow all the time. And that's the goal. Judaism is growing. Judaism is growing. It means that you need to grow. And that's the Torah says, Lashon Orah, teaching. That you need to, if you learn 1 year Torah, and you not become a better person, and not more human, much more sensitive for others, you didn't learn Torah, you learn mathematics things. Torah is Lashon Hora, means that you have to learn and applicate the teaching of the Torah to yourself. Make you a better person. Make you less angry. Make you less arrogant. Make you more charitable. Make you more love to fellow. Make you a person that they don't see the defects of others. Make a person that see the good of the others. Make a person that always have a nice word to say to people. And that's the most important thing. You need to be an example. And that's to see that all the eyes are by Jewish people. Many people get money in other places, in Syria, this. People don't care so much. In Israel, people care because the Jews is the people that God gave the Torah, and it has to be an example for all the world. It has to show the world. Like a friend of mine, like me, I'll talk about me. I came back from my wife for Israel, and I saw a new phone in the airport. New phone, iPhone. Took out the iPhone. After 1 minute, iPhone rings. Say, yes, I'm sorry, I find this iPhone. It's yours? I say, yes, I find it, please, I come to pick it up now. It was a guy from India. He came to me, said to me like this. Last month I met a Jewish person like you, and he was a great person. You make a Kiddush Hashem. You sanctificate the name of God. Other guy can steal the phone and take a phone, costs $400. Sanctificate the name of God. Now a few months ago was a story about a person that he bought for the thrift store. He bought like a kind of a table that you can sit over there, you can learn. And inside of the table you find a lot of money. He called the person, was in Craigslist, said, I find this money. What happened? This lady has a husband. This husband, he hide money, the time people hide money inside of things, and he gave back the money to the person. The person could not believe how much honest is a person, how much honest is a person. And that's one of the things people need to go, and the Torah says us, one of the questions, the first question that God asks you in the heaven, Inatata venasata bemuna, if you was honest in the business. And that's a very hard thing, because sometimes people have opportunities to steal big money by mistakes of other people, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge for God. That God gives to you to see really if you can be able to overcome and be honest and give back the money for the person. One of the big story was that there was missing a stone from the ephod, from the 12 stones for the tribes, for the Beit HaMikdash, the Kohen was able to touch and communicate for Hashem. And they heard about a guy, a not Jewish man. They have this stone over there. They went to this not Jewish man, and says, you need a stone right now. You can see all the other people. He says to him, right now I cannot give you, because the key of the place of the safe where is the diamonds is down of the pillow of my father. My father is sleeping now, and I cannot wake up my father to give it for any money in the world. I have respect for my father. Okay. They didn't bought for him, bought for somebody else. Finish the story. Cannot finish the story because everything you do in this world, Hashem sees. And Hashem saw that for respect of his father, he did not want to sell even for all the money of the world. And this man, in the next year, he has a red cow. in his place, and he sold for much more money, became much more rich. Because it was something unique, how many, with 8, 9, I don't know exactly, a few in the world. Because everything, gentlemen, everything, Hashem sees everything. Like I told before, the story of the story about this convert that came to me, and I asked him, what are you doing now for Pesach? He said, no, Rabbi, I need to raise money to go see my wife in Pesach. He already 5 months, he wasn't see his wife in Barranquilla in Colombia. I said, how much is the ticket? $240. I asked my wife, she didn't ask him. Okay. In the same night, came a person to me, give me $300. Even though I said, why? Why is it? Because Hashem wants to show you that for helping people, you don't lose. For helping people, you don't lose. To show right away, even I didn't ask for 2 hours, 3 hours, after pay, right away a guy give me $300 back, donation. And that's the reason. And if people know really the power of helping other people, to help people 24/7. Because that's one of the only ways to break all the bad agreements, all the things. Like the people say over here, the famous story about the daughter of Rabbi Akiva. The king astrology says, I just have a bad news to tell you. I saw in the stars that in the day that your daughter is going to get married, she's going to die. Rabbi Akiva says, I just have a good news to tell you, that a Jew he can change all the decrees to good kindness, good and kindness. The only question over here, how can be really? How can be an astrology can see things? I tell you look now at the water time in the future. How can be a person really can come and look at the stars and knows what's going to happen in the world? So that's one of the most powerful teaching of Moshe Luzzatto, the way of God. They explain like this. God is infinite, and the world is limited. So how can be that God is infinite, can give life for the world that's limited? They need something to condense the light. And this thing that condenses the light calls stars. And everything God wants to do pass to the stars. To come from the behind of the stars, this person is going to die. Come to the stars, they condense the infinite will of God in 110 words from this word. Come, they decree the person passed away. Okay? One night after the marriage, come in the morning, the guy is happy, good to say, I'm going to teach the world now. The astrology is stronger than the Torah. Came to the world, says, no, she's died. She said, no, she did not die. How can be? I saw she's going to die. I called her daughter, said, tell me something. You saw what a special mitzvah you do in your wedding. I said, Father, I'll tell you right now. I was in my wedding. Rabbi Akiva was the biggest scholar. All the biggest rabbi people dressed the wedding, dressed nice. By the way, in the time of the Beit HaMikdash, people don't use black and white like today. They use many colorful green and red things. Only after the destruction of the temple, the people the rabbis a little bit dark, because we have mourning for the Beit HaMikdash. But before really, the clothing of the rabbis was yellow and green and blue, many beautiful colors. And she saw this poor man, this beggar. This beggar was dirty and all his clothing was disgusting. And he was embarrassed to come because every person was dressed so beautiful for the wedding. And he was embarrassed to come to the wedding. She stand up and she took for her plate and gave to him to eat. And this mitzvah took, and when she came to the house, she has like a pin for the hair. She put the pin, and it was that snake in her bed. The truth, he saw right, she was supposed to die. But the mitzvah, that she get up in her wedding and give her a plate for a poor man to eat, that's break the decree of death. And that's really one of the powerful things that I tell you guys again and again. how powerful is, how strong is chesed, kindness. Let's continue, please.
15. Shammai says, make your Torah study a fixed practice. Say little and do much, and receive everyone with a cheerful face.
Okay. One of the things the Torah says, V'gita bo yomam v'layla. You have to learn Torah day and night. How can be? If I told you before that a person has to have Torah in malacha, a person has to work also, cannot only learn. But the Torah says that even if you cannot learn all day, you have to make time in the mornings and in the night to learn Torah. And that's one the powerful thing over here. And more me'ad v'asabeh. Have people, the only talkers. Talk, I'm going to do it, this, that, but really doesn't do nothing. The opposite. You have to, more me'ad, have to talk a little. Don't talk too much. Action. Judaism teach you action. An action person, not a talking person. Politician talks. Jewish people act. Act. That's what you need to do. Don't say I'm going to do it, don't do it. Do it. Do it, do it, do it. But don't say too much, because what's between you and Hashem, only Hashem knows. I have a beautiful story Rabbi Shmuel Haber says about a person. There was a tailor. And this tailor, he was in his house. The rabbi, he was sitting in his house also, and somebody knocks the door. Who was the door? It was a orphan chatan. Orphan chatan, that wants to get married. And he says, Rabbi, please, I want to get married, but I don't have a talis. How can be every chatan have a new talit and I don't have a talit? And the Rabbi said, no, but I'm tired to raise one of you. And he started to cry. He said, how can I go to my wedding, the chuppah, the most happiest day in my life, where everybody has a new garment, a new talit. I have no new talit, I have to go old talit like a beggar. The Rabbi went to a tailor. This tailor was a very stingy person. Very stingy person, he never give charity to nobody. He knocks the door, but he has respect for the rabbis, bring the rabbi to his house. He will say, listen, I need now 40 rubles, like $100 for the talit. Say, Rabbi, you're crazy, you come to me. No, I never give money for nobody. And the rabbi said that he doesn't have more strength to go raise money for this boy. He left. When he left, this man came running after him. He said, Rabbi, I'll give you 40 rubles on one condition. So what's the condition? He says that you give a share of your next word to me. The rabbi said, no problem. Come to the house, sign for a paper, you have a share of my mitzvot, I give it to you for the 40 rubles, you have it hatam. When the person passed away, he was so mean, nobody wants to go to the Lavaya, to the funeral. The rabbi came, people start to say, he's a tzaddik nistar, for sure he's a big tzaddik, how the rabbi is coming for the funeral and say nice things about him. But his friend, no, he wasn't a big tzaddik. So what happened? The mitzvah that he do. Other beautiful story about this, I want to tell you to understand the power of the mitzvah. Was a Jew, a very poor Jew, came for the rabbi and said, Rabbi, please, I need to marry my daughter. I need 400 rubles, like $10,000. I don't have a penny. So I said, take now $100, go in the first business appears for you. In the first business appears for you, you do it. It's okay. You go over there, you go to the hostel over there, a pundak, where all the single people are, all the people sleep in a hotel, and see some people talking. So the rabbi says to me, the first business, I do it. While they're talking, they sell diamonds. And the guy says, you sell diamonds? I say, yes. I also want to buy diamonds. How much money you have? $100. People start to laughing. $100. You can buy a diamond for $100. So one guy says to him, I got to make fun for this guy. You know what? No problem. I, for $100, I sell you my next word for you. The guy said, no problem. Sell my next word to me. No problem. He took a testimony, pen, thing, right, I, Moshe Zichman, selling my next word to Yosele for 100 rubles. Okay? He left. Everybody laughing at him, how stupid guy. He took all his money and bought a next word. They started laughing. And his wife said, why are you laughing? They told the whole story. What a story, that he really found a guy like a soccer, stupid guy, that he bought for 100 rubles all his money to the next word. He sold his next word. She says, what? It's not enough that you don't keep Shabbat. It's not enough that you eat not kosher. It's not enough that you don't eat all the things taref. You also sell your next word. Go right away and take back your next word for him. Give him back the money. Go away. Don't go away. Don't come to the house. She was a tough lady, so ladies have no. She's tough cookie ladies now, sergeant. And she kicked him out from the house. The guy get over there. He said, no, you know what, my friend? It was a joke. Please send me back. Take money. He said, no, I want 400 rubles. He said, what? 400 rubles? You crazy? Take it or leave it. You don't want? No, I go goodbye. And you know, the guy was afraid for his wife. She was a tough cook. She said she'll kick him out from the house. She doesn't have the paper. He paid 400 rubles. After this lady met this Jew and said, who told you to do this? He said, the rabbi. She went to the rabbi. Says, Rabbi, tell me something. I don't understand. My husband don't eat kosher. Don't keep Shabbos. Don't go even Yom Kippur. The Jew is the worst Jew I met in my life. His next word worth 100 rubles. The Rabbi says to him, listen, my friend. Before he gave the 400 rubles, his next word was 0. After he helped his 400 rubles to marry a poor bride, it was much more than 400 rubles. The Midav Mitzvah person doing this word tremendously. Like before a month ago, I told you guys the amazing story that was the 1 year of the passed away of my Rebbe's daughter. She passed at 22 years old in the bus accident. And the story was a very amazing story. That one night before the 30 days, that my wife, she got pregnant. And after a few days, I had a dream. There was a year that she's getting passed away, and I saw the Rabbi, the Biala Rabbi, the Rabbi from Shalim. I saw him. After go to the grave in Har HaZeitim, in Mount of the Olives, I saw him walking back, and I want to run after him to tell him that my wife, she's pregnant. Then I met the Rabbi, said, Rabbi, what's the connection? He says, and before she would not get pregnant for a year and a half. The connection is that my daughter wants the people who remember her in this world, and she made your wife get pregnant with the condition that you go to put her name, people remember her. And she's going to have part of her soul is going to become part of her. I mean, the part of her soul became my daughter. Then I was in New York, the Rabbi said, go back now. She had to get pregnant, the Rabbi of Biala of Yerushalayim. I'm coming back, she got pregnant, she got a baby in the house. No pain, no nothing, amazing, never happened such a thing. After the girl born, everything, was like a month ago, a year, she passed away. I make a tremendous soda. Some of you guys was by me, in my house, was here. I have 54 people. In the morning, I was awake already. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning. I was awake, wasn't sleeping, was awake. I was getting ready to go to the shul. I heard, first time in my life, I heard a voice from the heaven. It said to me, Shkoyach, like thank you. And I never happy in my life. Never. Never. I never heard voices, I never see angels sing. I heard a voice from the heaven say for me, thank you. And something interesting that how I know it was like a voice for that wasn't her voice, it was a voice for the angel. Because the voice is something amazing. It's something sweet that I never saw in my life. The sweetness in the voice, and they bring you peace. They bring you peace, something I never represented in my life. Sometimes you say, what are you doing? You're helping a person. She passed away. What's the connection? What's the connection to that connection? And I have a dream, ladies and gentlemen, that I saw her in my house, in my sofa. I saw her in the dream. I saw her in the dream, and she was holding my daughter and smiling. See, why I tell you this? Because people need to change. People need to come and become a giver. Judaism teach you be a giver, not a taker, a giver. All the rabbi says, what's a good shalom bite? When you give 3 times and ask 1 time. Always be ready to give, to give, to give. And that's what I want to teach you. Be a giver. Help people. Don't be afraid to give charity. Don't be afraid to take out your time to do something for somebody else. Because you never know. I have a story, amazing story happened. One of the ladies, Rabbi Raymond, his wife, she's a matchmaker, she receives a phone call for a girl from Israel saying, my name is Dad, my father is American, I here in Israel, I don't find a match for me because I grew up in America and Israel is very different. And I want to come to Lakewood, New Jersey, it's a place of the many yeshivot. I want to come to Lakewood, New Jersey to find a chatan. He said, okay, to find a man for me, a husband for me. But I need a place to sleep. She says to him, she says to her, no problem, you can sleep by me. Took this girl, she never saw the girl, she comes from a very famous family, her father is Rosh Kolel. And she tell me, please, what kind boy are you looking for? Look for a scholar, nice looking and tall, good midot, good heart, good everything. Person that have passions for the Torah, like to help people, a giver, not a taker. She says to him, you know, I have the perfect shidduch for you, I have the perfect match for you. Say, who? My son. My son. And she met him, and she married him. And I was in the way.
Wow.
Even she wasn't taken, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe she'll marry somebody else. For the kindness that she take a strange to her house, he was the soulmate for the thing. King Solomon says, Rabot machshavot belevish ve'atzat Hashem itakum. Many thoughts are in the mind of the person, and what Hashem is going to give it to you, that's what you deserve. What means, told a story that his daughter was coming once to his father and say, Father, I find my soulmate. Say, who is that? A prince? A son for a Kohen Gadol? A son for a chief of the tribe? A son for the biggest rabbi? No. I find my heart, my love in a carpenter. Say, what? A carpenter? You're not going to marry him. He says, okay. I don't marry him, I don't marry nobody. Say, okay. So that time, he said, like this, problem. Shlomo said he had a big ego, that he was going many trips because he was able to talk to the animals. This ego took her and put it in the far palace, far place. After 1 year, the ego was bringing food all the time. He started to bring 2, 3 times food. What happened? This ego came, the guy was sleeping, and he took this guy, carpenter, and put him in the castle with her. Yes, put in the castle with her, and they get married, have children over there. Because this person was her soulmate. And Hashem makes married. But she's a princess. He's a carpenter. How can be? Can be because only God knows who is the soulmate for a person. And that's the reason that people cannot be so judgmental. I want to tell a story, a real story about my cousin. I have a cousin. She lives in Beverly Hills, in California, one of the richest places in the world. She was 40 years old, 40. She met a boy, 41 years old. Very good boy, a worker, hard worker. And this boy liked her forever. And she says to me, why don't marry him? I asked her. I said, I don't marry him because it doesn't make enough money to support me. I will live in Beverly Hills, I need a high maintenance. And he's a high maintenance lady. And it's a guy, a doctor, a professor that makes $200,000. Today she's 55 and she's single.
Oh my God.
So, yes. And she's what?
Single.
Exactly. She can go be your doctor yourself.
Why? Because people are not looking for the right things. And that's I teach again and again and again. Guys, money is not everything. Money helps a person. The heart is everything. Meet a person, today doesn't have money, tomorrow has money. All the people today have money, tomorrow don't have money. The guy say, Rabbi Haber, Allah Shalom, in months they have one thing called Tomchei Shabbat of Mansi. What's Tomchei Shabbat of Mansi? Is a place that distributes every week food for poor people in Mansi. And they say, no, people going in mansions for $3 million giving food every Friday. Because the guy was rich, he lost everything.
Why does he sell his mansion?
I don't know, maybe the only thing they cannot sell belongs to the bank, it's foreclosure.
No, oh, it's worth less than the loan?
Yeah, it's foreclosure,
So
it's
his house
foreclosure.
is basically, so he's over-loaned his mansion, so there's no equity left in the mansion. So he's basically in negative status.
Negative status is foreclosure.
So he's not so rich then?
He's poor.
Yeah.
He was rich. But sure, this time is going to be poor. Or the guy, like I told before here, like I said before, the story from Lev Levayev, the billionaire, was a poor boy in Kiryat Malachi, and the Chabad accept every kid for free. And now he in the wildest dream to think that he became Lev Levayev, one of the richest men in Israel. Because Hashem makes you rich, and Hashem makes you poor. And Hashem sometimes comes to a person and says to him, guy say, Hashem. The guy says to him, "Hi God, please, give me my soulmate, please, please." And she said, take, I gave you. And he threw out because she's a little bit chubby, threw out because he doesn't have enough money, he threw out because it's not the color of eyes you want, threw out because it's not the color of skin you want. Then the Hasidim says,
What about someone who smokes?
depends what he smokes, depends. Maybe she wants to quit, depends. Every case is a different case, have to check, have to see. Like I told you before, that tshuva can do everything. I don't think people even was in drugs. And he made tshuva, and they left all the drugs and became very scholars. They became the scholars, they became good people. Every person have a way to have a second chance. And that's the most powerful thing that Hasidus says, Zevogo shel Adam can create the soulmate of the person like to cross the Red Sea. One is to cross the Red Sea, one is the person. When you put in mind they're only going to be happy in the blonde, or in the dark, in the skin, or rich or poor, that you pull away your mazal, you pull away your soulmate. Because that's all you have to look at the person. Look at the person, have a good heart, the person that is a kindness, the person is a giver. It doesn't matter if he has money, he doesn't have money. Today he doesn't have money, like Lev Levayev, tomorrow became a millionaire. But the guy who was a billionaire today doesn't have a penny. Because richness is in the eye of Hashem. That's really, I want to finish today telling that Guys, today here, people coming here, many people look for his soulmate, for other things. Try to have eye tova, a good eye. Try to see the good of the person. Try to see what's good about each person. Don't see the defects. Everybody has defects. Try to be able to look if this person really is a good person, he really is a kind person, is really a person that can be a good father for my kids, can be a good mother for my kids. No, something that tremendous value. Many people are very good people, and they're not good father, not good mother. You know, me, an example, when I fly, sometimes I need to fly for work, other things, in the Jewish community. And 3 nights, I don't come. My son doesn't want to eat. He's angry. He doesn't want to talk. Because he needs a father. He needs a person that play with him and jump in him and pull it up and pull it down and play soccer, play this, play that. He needs a father. My son. So to be a good father, to be a good person, be a person that is caring about others. Be a person that is a forgiver. They know how to forgive, know how to forget, know how to don't say what I'm not supposed to say, know how to hold his anger. Hold his anger when he doesn't have to be angry. Maybe his wife do something wrong, he can scream at her thing. Don't say why, because a woman is very sensitive. Any small thing you say, she cries. She gets sensitive, and that's crying, it costs you hard in your life. She will punish you. She will punish you because you have to be very careful how to talk to a woman, how to say good things for a woman. I want just to finish the story that once was a person that came for the Chofetz Chaim, didn't have children. And he did not have children. And he says, he did not have children. He asked for the Chofetz Chaim what to do. He says, you need to go ask forgiveness for your ex-bride. They left her. He didn't say forgiveness for her. If she forgive you, you have. If she don't forgive you, you're not going to have children. If she went to this person, she met the person, and she asked for forgiveness, this person forgiven, and she has children. Say, acts, guys, what you do for others. To feel the Zohar Kadosh says, most of the people that are coming back in this world, they are coming back because they do bad for his neighbor, do bad for his follower, they stealing for your friends, they lying for your friends, they put him down, they make him feel bad. So that's to be so careful to love your fellow, not be arrogant, not make a person feel inferior, not make a person feel that you everything, he's nothing. Make a good person. If somebody mentioned, Shabbat this thing that you're going to improve our love to your fellow,